Don't Worry Darling is a new film playing in theaters that you probably have heard not the best things about. But I am not here to add on to that shitting of this movie. I think a lot of the criticisms are overly harsh. And I'll explain what I mean by that. There will be spoilers in this review, but I will warn you before I get to that point. I think it's necessary to kind of talk about what's wrong with this movie in a thorough way that I feel works for my reviews. So let me explain something. I was very excited about this movie. Reason why is I really enjoyed Olivia Wilde's previous film, Booksmart. I think a lot of people really did. That is my second favorite comedy of all time. My favorite being Coming to America. The cast of this film was great. I'm not a big Harry Styles guy, music-wise, and I've seen probably nothing that he's been in besides that end credit scene in The Eternals, movie-wise. So I didn't really know what to gauge on his acting, but Chris Pine is a great actor. Excited to see him in that new Dungeons and Dragons movie. He's cool as Captain Kirk, though William Shatner for life. He's fun in the Wonder Woman movies. So I was just kind of like, alright, I'll see where this goes. Florence Pugh is a great actress. Midsommar, I really enjoyed her in Black Widow as Yelena, and I enjoyed seeing, even though I hated Hawkeye, I enjoyed her in that show. So I was just kind of interested to see what this movie was. And I did not have high expectations coming into this movie. I actually lowered my expectations just a bit. I still was really hoping at the end of the day this was a good movie, but I actually went to check showtimes, okay? And when I was on Fandango checking showtimes, deciding what day I wanted to go and what time, I saw this movie at a 32%. I was like, oh shit, like that's not good. And I didn't really pay attention to any of the drama behind the scenes or any of that shit, because this is the kind of petty drama that, like, no one should even care because it means nothing to the fucking quality of the movie. I don't really care that Harry Styles spit on Chris Pine because we don't know if he did or didn't, and we won't ever know, and that means nothing to the quality of this movie. So, all I'm saying is, so when I saw that on accident, I still bought on accident. It's like, oh, I was checking out, reading some of the reviews. I will say, after watching the film, a lot of these reviews are ridiculously harsh. First of all, I was seeing some reviews called Olivia Wilde narrow-minded, having a narrow worldview. I'm like, do you know this person? No, you don't. You've never talked to her. And you probably never will talk to her. So saying this is kind of stupid. I mean, I guess you could argue most Hollywood celebrities have narrow worldviews, whatever you want to say. But, like, you don't actually know this woman. I don't know what you're talking about. Then let's just get into what works about this movie, so I can explain why some of the criticisms are overly harsh. So, first of all, if you look at that score, or you look at some of the reviews, they make it seem like there's nothing of merit here, which is absolutely not true. Florence Pugh is incredible in this movie. Again, she's an incredible actress. Chris Pine is really good in this movie. He's not in it as much as I would like, because his character had a very interesting dynamic with Florence Pugh's character, especially at this dinner table scene. Really, really liked that. And I wanted the movie to dive more into that, not a lot of it. That scene, was great. Then the cinematography and the direction here are all very solid. The score here is really good, and it builds up a great atmosphere. And the atmosphere is actually really good here. The problem with this movie, though, I was reading a lot of reviews say this movie was predictable. And I didn't quite get what they mean. I was engaged in the mystery for quite a bit of this movie. Then when we actually find out what the mystery was, I'm like, oh, that's exactly why this was predictable. And that's why I have to get into spoilers, but we're not quite there yet. I'll warn you when we get into spoilers. But that's kind of what I mean, is like that mystery, that kind of idea of everything like that being kind of predictable kind of stuff. kind of gets into that area. And then the thing where I think the criticisms are all really harsh is when we're talking about Harry Styles. I think a lot of it is this. Harry Styles is a popular actor and artist. A lot of people are seeing this movie because he's in it, okay? So I know because I work at a movie theater and I was taking tickets from people who were telling me that exact thing. I think it is a popular thing to hate on Harry Styles because he's popular, and I do not think that he's great in this movie, but by no means is he giving a terrible performance. I equate it to Tony in the new West Side Story. Because everybody in that movie is giving such excellent performances. Sorry, let me grab Cheeto. Stop it. Stop it. Because everybody in that movie is giving such excellent performances, when you see the actor who plays Tony doing such a weak job compared to the other actors, it makes it a little bit more noticeable because you have amazing talent doing this incredible job. So if Harry Styles was in a different movie, he probably wouldn't seem that bad. This is just not the right movie for him. So it's bad casting, not really so much that he's a terrible actor and awful, like so many people are making him out to be. And again, I think a lot of it boils down to popular guy and so easy to hate, And I think that's also where the spitting thing comes from, too. Is like people want to find things to hate. I don't know. It's just dumb. All right, getting into spoilers. So this movie, the fact that they were in a simulation is when I realized, oh, this is what people meant when they said it's predictable. This is the most easy way this plot could have gone. It didn't really have anything interesting to say or new to say. Even when that woman was talking about how I live in this reality because this is the one where my kids are alive or whatever the hell. I'm like, well, isn't this like something that similar to what happened in Doctor Strange or whatever or some shit? It's just like it didn't really add anything to the story or the themes of this movie. It's just bad. I really didn't like this. I really didn't like what they did with this. I was engaged in the mystery until I found out what the mystery is, and that's not a good sign that you have a good, intriguing story. And mystery is that, and it fell apart, and it was very generic, didn't offer a lot to say. And there are some themes that I was like, oh, this could be really interesting. They dive more into it, but they really didn't, and it just didn't work out. So yeah, this movie is kind of a mess, but it's one of those movies where we need to be more constructive with our criticisms. We can't just be people who just tear shit down. The elements are here for Olivia Wilde to make a really great film. She just probably needed better writers, and probably shouldn't have cast Harry Styles and blah blah blah. But we need to be constructive with our criticisms. We need to make sure we're not just tearing shit down. And I think that's kind of where I'm at with this movie and the reviews and the attitude I've seen with this movie is too many people are just tearing this shit down with no wanting to actually discuss what's wrong here, how can we fix it and make it work, that sort of thing. And that's where I'm at with this. I'm very disappointed with critics' attitude with this shit, and I think that we need to ask better from the critics, because yes, this is not a good movie. In fact, I wouldn't really recommend it. I would say if you're curious, wait to watch it on streaming because it's just not good. But it's just disappointing for me as someone who was really excited to see what Olivia Wilde's going to do next, and then she kind of stumbled her foot a little bit and made a pretty clunky movie with some really great elements that I would love to be singing its praises, but I can't do that.